I've spoken about need and greed to highlight the difference between them. Maybe I didn't highlight it enough. Okay, so I'll I'll make another video now, talk about the difference between need and greed. Look, I'm anointed to be a teacher, so it's my job, it's my responsibility to teach you things in an effective manner, as far as my ability permits it. Okay? And of course, I'm led by the Holy Spirit. Look, a need is a need. Okay, you have a need to eat, a need to drink, a need to have clothes on, a need for fresh air. So you have needs. Okay, there are some needs that you can negotiate. For example, the need for relaxation, because okay, you can relax by going to the club. You can relax by taking a bottle of wine. You can relax by going to a movie. So the need for relaxation, you can negotiate how you act that out. Okay, but still it's a need. Okay, and let's say you have someone who often drinks a glass of wine or some beer. Well, it's relaxation. It can happen, but what if they become so attached to that relief of drinking beer that has become an addiction and they're not aware of it? So now it begins to overtake them. It begins to control their moods. Their bodies become used to all that alcohol in the all that percentage of that promille of alcohol in the blood. So now it is as if the body needs the alcohol. The body doesn't need it, but it is as if they need it. Now that's alcoholism. That's a need out of control. Not a need to the bottle, because they don't need that bottle, they don't need that beer. It's the need for relaxation. That's the need that's out of control. So that's neediness that went too far. Okay? What I mean by too far, that they are needy, there's nothing wrong with that, but they become so attached to the relief of drinking alcohol, that it's now controlling them. They don't have it under control anymore. That's neediness, too far. Greed is, let's say that you have someone who, you have another individual who drinks once in a while, but he never gets drunk because he's used to drinking a lot, so he doesn't get drunk very easily. And he can easily put a bottle away if you want. But this individual has anger issues. And he or she, also women that way, so I'm going to use a she now, she tends to lash out, freak out against people. When she wants to control how people feel. She never learned to step outside of her own expectations. It's all about her own expectations. And so what's going on now? She knows that people that are alcoholic tend to have a mood swings. And she likes to drink a lot. So people then think she's an alcoholic. And you know what? She thinks, well, if I'm an alcoholic, people are not going to ask anymore about those anger issues. And she's a woman. Women are often placed in the victim category, so she takes advantage of that. And she keeps on lashing out against people. She never wants to give up some of her expectations. She never evaluates her expectations. Now, this is not a need gone too far. This is greed. This is her resisting reality by keep holding on to those expectations that don't add up. And when those expectations are threatened, she acts out. Because those expectations are her idol. Okay, that's greed. It may appear as a need out of control. It's not like that. It's greed. All right? And greedy people are the type of people you need to be delivered from. They may not be greedy towards you. They may be treating you right. But understand this, because they operate in greed, demons have easy access to them. Okay, someone, let's say, that's become an alcoholic, probably they have emotional pain somewhere, some childhood trauma, and it's a need for relaxation went too far. So the individual sees that they need help and they do want help. What's going on now? Demons have gotten hold of those people. Not because of the alcohol, but because of the needs that has been mismanaged. Both by the individual, him or herself, and by the environment, because the environment is also involved in the development of alcoholism. It's not just the individual, the community is involved also. And sometimes it's the community that keeps people in that mentally wounded state that empowers the alcoholism. Because once the mental and emotional wounds or need is dealt with, the neediness towards alcohol dissolves. but often the community is also involved in it. So the community is greedy for their self-validation, and to sustain it self-validation, they keep someone else in the negative. That also happens. So now you have an alcoholic that wants to get rid of it. He is fighting against alcoholism, and all of that, but he doesn't know how to do it. So that's a different matter. But demons, there's still negative energy, especially negative energy of people that condemn the individual instead of praying for that individual or having that individual out if they can. So now demons, well, of course they feed off that negative energy. But someone that's greedy is a willful agent in the negative. And when you're a willful agent in the negative, man, evil spirits, they get all excited about you. They surround themselves around you and hold you tight. And there's the thing, you will be holding them tight also because you're greedy. And greedy people, their mind doesn't operate their mind doesn't operate well anymore. I'm not going to call them mentally ill, because it's not that their mind has been overwhelmed and then now they need to rest. Because when your body is overwhelmed, you tend to have physical illness. So say when your mind is overwhelmed, you tend to get mental illness. Okay? I'm not talking about those categories the hospitals, the medicine industry is selling to people. Not hospitals, but the medicine industry. Okay? Because those categories are often constructs that they use to exploit people to get money from them through the medicine industry. So I'm not talking about that mental illness. I'm talking about real mental illness. When your mind is overwhelmed through stress or through attacks, of course you're going to have some complaints here and there. But greedy people, it's not mental illness of that type. Their mind has just become twisted. They cannot think naturally anymore. They can be helped and they can be delivered, but it may take years before they even admit that they that they are wrong, and even then they will fight and defend that good relief that they have. So their addiction is a different kind than the addiction of the alcoholic. Their addiction is a mind addiction. It's a direct, let me say that this, their addiction is a spiritual one, it's a demonic one. Okay, it's a paranormal addiction. While the alcoholic is more a physical thing. Relief through drinking that went out of hand. So the one is a need out of control, a need that went too far, and the other is just plainly demonic. Okay? So when judging whether some people are good for you or not, don't just look at the external outworkings. Look at what's behind it. Okay? You can have an individual, for example, let's say you have someone that's addicted to porn and even went to gay porn. And that individual realizes, hold on a minute, I'm not gay, but why am I looking at this? I don't want to look at this, but every night he needs to watch it. Why? That individual, it's not about the porn, okay? It's just that they want relaxation, and sexual images does produce serotonin in your brain. And, well, pornography, they know how to make movies to provoke your brain to make a lot of serotonin. So you are going to feel calms down, but you become attached to that thing. And demons are going to use that to hold you in a grab. So the individual that has a porn addiction, that realizes, hold on a minute, I don't want this anymore. Such an individual, you need to keep your distance so that they can have a chance to seek help and to recover. Because people need to have their space to recover, okay? But then you have another individual who has no porn addiction, none of those, no alcoholism, no drug addiction, none of that. But they are kind of proud. They tend they have some people that they can't stand for such reason, but they can never explain why they can't stand such people. But for the rest, they are polite, they're well-mannered. So you tend to think, well, that guy over there, or that girl over there, there's also women that have porn addictions, oh, not good to hang out with, man, they're messed up. They have all that kind of childhood issues, all of that, so you tend to avoid them. But the one that has a demonic greed, by feeding off of the negative state of others, you think they are the right people to be around because, well, they are civil, they are polite, and all of that. Oh! The one over there needs space so that they will realize that they need help, so they can seek help, so they can recover. So they need their space. So you lower contact with them when needed, so that they, because you know you in your own strength can't help them. Okay, so you keep your distance. But the other one, that has it all together, he is far more dangerous. Because with him, you're deceived by the external outworking, but you don't see that he has a legion of demons that are feeding off of him. So when judging whether someone is right to be around or not, don't just look at external outworking, look at what's behind it. You have need and you have greed. A lot of times you have need that went too far, and you have greed. Learn the difference. Okay, I'm going to close now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.